All right, welcome back. We have a couple fake news spots I just want to run through. Kristi Noem provided some testimony to Congress, and of course, that didn't stop the Democrat machine from trying to get more sound bites on the Rachel Maddow show. Why that's important, I don't know. Maybe we should ask him at some point, but let's run through it. And yes, you're going to watch the intro with me all over again because I like it. And here we are, gathering quickly. It's the fastest I've seen these people move. All right, doing introductions. Thank you for coming here, Kristi.
But now I'd like to turn to my colleague, Mrs. Underwood, for her opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And this is Lauren Underwood, Representative Lauren Underwood of Illinois, Democrat, ranking member.
For holding this hearing to conduct oversight of the Department of Homeland Security and welcome Secretary Noem to your first hearing here. On this subcommittee, our job is to keep our country safe and to safeguard our values as Americans. Last year, working together, we secured consistent increases for border operations funding and helped bring encounters at the southern border down and seizures of narcotics, including fentanyl, up through critical investments at our ports of entry, CBP officers, and increases to Homeland Security investigations.
The gentlelady from Connecticut.
Okay, so she just said that in the last year, they brought border encounters down significantly, stopped drugs coming through the border, all that kind of stuff. Keep in mind, and people lose sight of this as soon as an election cycle is done. What happened between March through November? Biden did his best, or as much as his interns could, to lock down the border and actually enforce the laws that are on the books. And that was all political. Like, look, we did it. We're done. But what happened for those 3 years prior to that, right? So she's starting off by getting a soundbite just to say that, oh, we already did this last year. I don't know what you guys are up to, or trying to take some kind of credit. It'll air on Rachel Maddow's show, but I doubt it'll get much further than that. But this is how it started, right? We'll go to Representative, my favorite one from Connecticut here. She's a real piece of work. Her focus was on FEMA, though. This gets even better.
The ranking member of the Appropriations Committee, who got here as quick as she could. Thank you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. My God, it's just twice in one day here, so it's great to see you. We're hearing hopping here.
Yep. All right. Gives a monologue here for about 5, 6
my ask of you is
minutes.
What is your plan with regard to FEMA? Are you planning to eliminate FEMA?
Well, thank you for your...
Okay, so there's what she's after. Are you planning to eliminate FEMA? Now, here's where the Democrats have really misconstrued what's happening with DOGE, with efficiency. Whoa, look at that fella in the back with his scarf. He's looking fancy. My goodness, I almost missed that guy. Anyway, here's where they misconstrue and kind of mischaracterize what's going on with DOGE and the efforts that the Trump administration is undertaking. I can't get over that dude in the back. What's going on with him? It's not about completely eliminating agencies, right? It's not about eliminating benefits to people. It's recognizing that there are certain things out there that are being funded that are not of value, right? So FEMA, essentially disaster relief. Why then is there $646 million that FEMA has in its budget dedicated to non-disaster related grant programs? That's subject for review. That's subject for them to take a look at cutting, right? Will they cut all of it? Probably not, but there's probably some stuff in there that if it's not disaster relief related that they can then take out of the picture. And it's not just that those dollars go out, but somebody has to administer and look at grant requests that come in, approve them, so forth. So there's a lot of overhead that goes along with that. So that $600 plus million, a lot of overhead stuck in there, programs that are not related directly to disaster relief. Why do we want to do that, right? And you look at FEMA overall, they don't list more recently what its overhead is that it's operating under. But I mean, say it's 10%. That's still pretty significant. Why do you need an additional 10% and you'll hear Kristi Noem talk about this in a little bit, 10% overhead, taking away from benefits that would actually go to folks. So what the Trump administration is saying is, let's get rid of that overhead. Let's get rid of that step along the process, push that benefit and those dollars directly to states. and states, you've already got people and structure in place. Deliver the money, administer the program. It's better set in your hands. But the expert here, the representative from Connecticut, is going to start interrogating Kristi Noem, even though I don't know all that many disasters that have hit the great state of Connecticut. She'll still start talking about Hurricane Katrina here.
Question and the discussion on this topic today. President Trump has been very clear since the beginning that he believes that FEMA and its response in many, many circumstances has failed the American people, and that FEMA as it exists today should be eliminated and empowering states to respond to disasters with federal government
if you'll just,
support.
With all due respect, where is the evidence of the failure of FEMA? I don't know about everybody else on this. My state, Connecticut, was hit very, very hard. With Superstorm Sandy. Every community in some way or another has been hit by that. And the FEMA on the ground, people come in, work with the families, deal with getting the funding out. Where is the evidence of the failure of FEMA?
Congresswoman, we still have claims open from Hurricane Katrina. We have fire claims that are still unpaid to people who said they were due them 7 to 8 to 10 years old.
We still have claims open from Hurricane Katrina. That happened in 2005. For folks that don't remember, I survived Hurricane Katrina. It's funny to say that. I lived through it. Well, I think I fared much better than most, but nonetheless, they have claims open since Katrina. Does that speak to how effective and efficient FEMA operates? Is that the norm? That you have a 20-year case that's open that goes unresolved? I mean, at some point, if somebody's non-responsive to you, you just close it down. But why are these things, if that is the case, but why are there such outliers like this, right?
They have never been paid by FEMA. So one of the worst things that the federal government can do is to stand up in front of the American public and say, we will be there. We will walk alongside you in the most horrible time of your life, and then never follow through on it. Well, the president has said is he's sick and tired of federal agencies that pick and choose who wins and who loses. He wants to make sure that the federal government's commitment, when it makes a commitment, that it follows through. So he's going to empower states.
The federal government is abdicating its commitment to the American people who find themselves.
Certainly under Joe Biden's administration. Now President Trump's going to make sure.
Let me just say.
Yes, she's cutting her off before she starts bringing Joe Biden into it.
The Office of Professional Responsibility. The Office of Professional, because I knew you were going to go there. As you know, FEMA's Office of Professional Responsibility, under the Biden administration, there was no evidence, no direction or agency or field leadership to discriminate against disaster victims based on political affiliation, which was a charge.
I'll follow up with you.
Well, and I will follow up. And I'll follow up with my colleagues, quite frankly, and to.
I don't know if y'all heard, she dropped her pen.
Really listen to people whose states, communities have been devastated, and what role FEMA has played. I don't know how many millions and millions of dollars went out in Louisiana. Actually, I've asked my staff to calculate that when Katrina.
All right, so Road Home program, $150,000 per person in the state of Louisiana, who basically you just had to fill out a form. There was no real verification that happened at that time. That grant money was just put out there. I didn't need it, so we didn't apply for it, but a lot of people did. And the real estate market went crazy because people started selling their homes at a high premium because all of a sudden every home price went up $150,000, oddly enough, right? Gave out this free money. You hear about these crazy stories, people drinking it, doing all kinds of, not rebuilding type activities with it. It was not administered well. There was no checks that were really put in place. It did help out a lot of people that really needed it, but by and large, was it something that was effective and efficient, and was the value delivered to the people that really needed it?
Hit, and the response was overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And the response has been overwhelming. If you want to make corrections, that's fine. We all agree with that.
Yeah, we can point to thousands and thousands of areas.
Well, if you wouldn't mind getting this committee.
We can point to thousands and thousands of errors. Look at the guy in the back with the scarf. He's like, ooh, like.
If you wouldn't mind getting this committee the information and the evidence where you talk about the dysfunction of the agency and where it has really failed. That would be important to those of us who are appropriating dollars. And it would appear that the administration overall has a way in which they're looking at dismantling the federal government. The states will never have the amount of money because the federal government isn't going to pass that money to the states to be able to deal with what happens. It's when the federal government comes in and be able to give a hand to do that. And I think it's very clear from what you said that both yourself and the president really want to dismantle the federal government and the agencies that have provided service to the American people for decades. I thank the chair for your time and yield back.
Thank you, Madam Ranking Member.
She sits there and quietly smiles, of course. And she had to end it there, right? Because she did not want to get the response back. She claimed that they wanted to, end the federal government, claimed that there was no money that was going to be allocated for states. You look up, check one of the AI systems, right? Tell it to go look up everything that's going on, and it'll tell you that the conclusion is that Trump is saying that federal dollars should go directly to states rather than through a federal agency like FEMA. That's the bottom line. Cut out all the overhead, send it directly to the states, because the states already have people doing the exact same thing. This is how business works. You get rid of duplication. When companies merge, duplicate departments, they pick the best out of both, and the rest get laid off. And that's kind of what's happening in the government now by sending those dollars directly to states. It's the first time I have ever heard somebody think of the government in terms of business. But anyway, fun interaction there with FEMA. I'll catch you guys next time.